Batman Killing Time, issue 1, Tom King writing with David Marquez on the art. New Batman mini, the Tom King mini, although notably they promised that this was less of these prestige types books and this was more of a typical classic Batman 6 issue story.
I feel like they're mumbling or they're jumbling that up because I like his prestige stuff, right? Like
I do, but I think his Batman stuff in particular has not been as good for a long time. So
right, and I get that. So for them to come out and say, "Oh no, this is in continuity," I was like, "Well, most people are probably gonna check it out anyways." I mean, if not for King, the Marquez art, like, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, anyway, the point I was getting to though is that I actually think it fulfills that. In that, as I was reading this, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't sound like a Tom King Batman story. Like his run doesn't feel like Batman Catwoman. It feels like. Yeah, this just was like a random Batman arc that someone could have written at some point.
It definitely, it almost feels like the animated series. And I wonder if that's on purpose.
Yeah, it's set in the early days of Batman. This is, Batman Catwoman was more of a villain. The plot is about Catwoman, Riddler, Penguin, and Croc have all teamed up to basically steal an item, because Croc's actually robbing a bank, but the robbing the bank is just a distraction, so Batman's not catching the other stuff.
Yeah, so Riddler has this plan to steal something, and there's multi layers to this bank robbery.
It's jumping around a lot. It starts off with Croc walking into the bank, and it keeps giving you the timestamp in the narration. Yep. And it's like, okay, so they're bribing this guard, and it cuts back to the guard at the Iceberg Lounge the 2 nights before. And then it shows you Selina, who's impersonating like a tennis instructor, the wife of the bank manager, and then so on and so on. And it kind of bounces around.
I had to read it carefully a bunch because it said Selina, is teaching tennis, and to this lady, but the lady she's teaching it to looks like Selina, and Selina has blonde hair. So I was like, did they mess up something? And I was like, oh no, she's running a scam.
Yeah, so she's undercover to waiting to strike. So it's actually a very well put together issue where everything does kind of coalesce. Eventually Gordon hears there's a bank robbery. It shows you what time Batman sort of gets informed that and shows up. It was a great full page spread of him jumping in front of the signal.
Yeah, I love the part where Bruce has to fight Croc, right, to save someone in the bank. And he's like, Batman lost 2 teeth in the fight. Croc lost 7. Such a, like...
I want to say it was more... Was it almost like 13? I feel like it was in the teens.
Oh, shoot.
Batman loses 2 teeth in the brawl. Croc loses 13. I knew it was a 13, teen. And I remember thinking that's a lot of teeth to lose.
Yeah. And I like just the point of, like... It's just a point of fact in the, in the breakdown of what happened.
Yeah, and poor Croc's... So Croc knows that he's just the distraction and he's going to go back to Arkham. But he's agreed to do this for a large sum of money because he wants to pay to get skin grafts so that his ex or his girlfriend who can't kiss him or be with him as a monster that he is now will be with him again. And the money
are so much better.
Yeah, and the money gets delivered to her at the end, and it kind of feels like she's probably just going to do a runner with this money and not wait for him.
And with the plan, so Riddler goes to the bank manager to get brought into this vault that he even really can't access, and part of that is part of the pressure on him is Catwoman having his wife hostage.
Yep.
That's who she's teaching tennis to, and there's just layers to this, and that they steal something out of one of the lock boxes.
Yeah, safety deposit box.
Yeah, safety deposit box, and
ultimately what this becomes at the end is what's in the box. And Batman seems to have an idea because when Gordon's like saying, "No, they just took one thing. They didn't even take like bags of money or anything." He says, "Was it vault number 5?" And he's like, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" And then we have like Riddler and Catwoman looking into this box and going, "Oh shit, you got it." So it's like we don't know what it is. The item has been built up now. I'm like genuinely curious what this is that's causing this reaction in all these characters.
And wasn't Riddler getting it for Penguin, and then Catwoman takes off with it?
Maybe.
Because they go to do an exchange, and it doesn't go well.
Yeah. But I mean, Riddler ends up attacking Penguin. And and they see the signal, and that's when they decide to disband because they're having their meeting after they've all done their thing. It kind of sounds like Penguin's the one who arranged the whole thing, but they're double crossing him right here at the end. But I am curious. I'm curious to see what this thing ends up being. I thought they were going to reveal it by the end of the issue because they'd already teased it, enough.
Yeah.
But the end of the issue is Gordon on the rooftop with the bat signal. Batman asks, "Was it vault number 5?" And Gordon's like, "Oh, is this something I should be worrying about?" And he turns around and Batman's just gone, as per usual, and he just goes, "Shit, like, this is something serious. Whatever it is, it's something serious." So, yeah. I mean, I had fun. It was a romp. It was well told. It was a romp. I liked that she's in all these villains. It doesn't feel that Tom King-y, which is weird that they kind of promoted it that way, but it was accurate.
Yeah. Well, it's also just with the characters involved. Right? You have a Riddler, you have a Penguin, you have a Catwoman. The same week the Batman comes out, almost feels like a marketing opportunity.
I'm sure that's intentional, but it's it's set in the early days, so we've got these more classic versions of all these characters that are in play. So
but no, it was a nice fun read, which you can't always say with Tom King because usually his other stuff is so heady. Like I love Human Target, right? But you end up finishing that and your brain's still going. With this, once it was done, I was like, oh, I wonder what's in the box, and that was just kind of it. So it was nice and light and a heist. Which this is kind of what I wanted more from in his Batman run. So this delighted me.
Yeah, and Connor clearly didn't read it because he's not said a damn thing.
No, he doesn't read Tom King anymore.
Look, this was my only day off this week. I had things to do. I had to read all my books in like an hour before we started because that was when I got home from running my errands.
So,
and I was like,
did you have the intention?
Want to read? I had. I was looking at it was a maybe. It was a maybe.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh my god, it's another Batman book this week. And
who are you, me?
there was a lot of Bat books this week, and then I was like, oh, it's a Tom King Batman book.
Yeah.
A decent time. Obviously, the art's really nice throughout. Marquez getting to draw all these different things. I mean, Batman looks great, and Batman's not a main character in this. It's definitely. No. It's more of a bouncing around what the villains are up to. It's them performing their little heist. I'll be curious actually if next issue it still bounces around the villains and sort of keeps Batman at arm's length, or if we do switch to like a Batman sort of...
Or if it focuses more on like Gordon and Batman and that side.
We shift perspectives a little bit maybe next issue.
Because I feel that's the point of the book is that it's called Killing Time. Is that it's all this almost it's not disjointed in the way, but it's out of order. Because we keep jumping back. It
wouldn't surprise me if this theme of jumping around and time stamping the scenes to build whatever the narrative of each issue is maintains like that's a consistent theme that we play with. I don't know, maybe not, but
not like Rashomon, because Rashomon's all about the different perspectives. But we're getting like what Batman was up to when Selina was at the tennis, that kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't know if we'll get that. But I'm just thinking it'll play with the idea that whatever it's focused on in issue 2, it'll do the same sort of mechanic again, where it will jump around the 3 or 4 characters that are doing something at the same time, or within the span of a few hours, and
gotcha.
Yeah.
So. Well, I'm definitely gonna check out issue 2. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it was a nice, easy read. So, what are you rating the book, man?
I'm gonna give this an 8.
I think that's pretty fair. If I am going to agree with that, I think I'll go with a nice solid 8 myself as well. Just a good fun time.